19th of June 2023. This news flash, I'm going to talk about Blinken's visit to China. Now, we all know that after that balloon fiasco, China refused to have any communications with the Americans. And at that stage, there was a planned trip by Blinken to China, and China cancelled that trip. And we had the fiasco, around Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. And we've seen many of the American officials posturing and threatening China, and they're talking about war with China, and they're talking about weaponizing Taiwan and all that stuff. All of us have been down that road. And how the Americans was adamant Taiwan will not be touched by the Chinese. And the Chinese were, as usual, cool, calm, and collected. And they just watched it. And Xi Jinping's visit to Putin was something that the Western media developed epilepsy about, to say the least. And we are all aware of the fact that they're trying to force China to take sides against Russia. The EU is posturing and threatening with all types of stupid stuff that will kill their economy totally, seeing that it's now been crippled with a good shot through the chest from the Russian sanctions. The West is out of plans. The West is out of ammunition, literally. So all they have is posturing. But let that be. So eventually, after Blinken traveled all around the Kazakhstans and Tajikistans and all the stans, and then to the Middle East, and that Middle East visit of him to Saudi was now a real, I don't know, if I want to give it a word, it's going to be a swear word. In any case, that was not a great story. And here's Blinken going to China. And he arrives in China. And look at this image. At the very first moment of Blinken's visit to Beijing, we noticed one captivating detail. Immediately after disembarking from the plane, his gaze swept across an empty airport terminal, devoid of loud greetings and a carpet. That is a clear sign from the Chinese. But I've been spending time to learn more about China the past month or a half or so. And one thing that I know, when you deal with the Chinese, you better keep your eyes open, because they will give you signals, and it's up to you to pick those signals up. Take note, no welcoming party, no music band, no military guard of honor, no red carpet, none of that. That is an important thing. And then we get this. China and US hold candid, take note, candid talks in Beijing. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken traveled to China on Sunday for a high-profile talks with his Chinese counterpart, Qin Gang, and other senior officials. Blinken has become the most senior US official to visit Beijing since President Joe Biden took office in 2021. And it continues. The first day of Blinken's visit involved talks between him and China's recently appointed Foreign Minister Qin, formerly Beijing's ambassador to Washington. The closed-door negotiations ran for over 5 hours, with both sides providing little detail in the aftermath of the talks. Blinken's spokesperson, Matthew Miller, described the words only as candid, substantive and constructive in tight-lipped statement. And then we have this. President Xi says China and US made progress on a number of issues during Secretary of State Blinken's visit. And then this one commentator says, and President Xi better keep in mind no one is as trustable as USA to break treaties, agreements and understandings. But there's more comments. And it's from a Chinese guy, and he says, basically means there are no progress. Can China be trusted? They seem to be open to anyone, says Derek. And then this, Suzette says, good luck with that. Remember the Minsk agreements and the March 2022 Ukraine RF agreements? Watch your back. But this one was the best of all. And the guy says, issue number 1, Blinken pays for his accommodation himself. Issue number 2, future business lunches will no longer include Peking duck, but the fortune cookies stay on the menu. Issue number 3, henceforth President Xi will get 3 bags of Jolly Ranchers instead of 5. Issue number 4, Chinese balloons shall be identified and announced before entering US airspace. Issue number 5, Taiwan once used to be called Formosa. Issue number 6, China shall prohibit the sale of Chinese firecrackers to celebrate Ukraine's recapture of Crimea. Issue number 7, President Biden is not welcome in China until after the elections. Issue number 8, the Chinese military will stick to male and gorgeous female soldiers and will not be coerced into recruiting transsexuals. Issue number 9, the next China-US meeting must be candid, substantive and constructive. I had to laugh when I read that. And then we get this shocker. I was stunned when I read this. The US do not support Taiwan independence, Blinken. During Monday's meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping, Blinken reiterated that the US do not support Taiwan's independence and has no intention to engage in conflict with Beijing. The future and destiny of humanity depends on whether China and the US can coexist properly, Xi emphasized during the meeting. And how is that? These are the guys that were threatening war over Taiwan not so long ago. US does not support Taiwan independence, Blinken. Well, what can I say? We had a famous judge, Himstra, in South Africa, and in one court case he said, reality is stranger than fiction. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. Thank you for your support.